You know, every single day, long before the sun even thinks about rising, this massive machine wakes up. It's a giant with a steel body but a human soul, and it's tasked with carrying the weight of an entire subcontinent. Today, we're going to dive into how it became the true lifeline of a nation.
And that quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? This isn't just about engineering or getting from one place to another. It's about the student racing to an exam, the family crossing half the country for a wedding, the farmer getting their crops to market. The rhythm of the train is the rhythm of life in India.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with why it's the nation's pulse, then we'll take a quick trip back in time, try to wrap our heads around its insane scale, see how it powers the economy, and finally, take a peek at what's next.
All right, first up, let's talk about why this is so much more than just a way to get from point A to point B. It's literally the country's circulatory system.
I mean, just look at that. We're talking over 68,000 kilometers of track. These are the arteries and veins, stretching all the way from the snowy Himalayas down to the tropical coasts of the south, carrying people, goods, and, honestly, dreams. So how in the world did this giant even come to be? Its story is a journey in itself, a transformation from the age of steam all the way to the age of electricity.
It all kicked off on April 16, 1853, with just a tiny 34-kilometer ride. From that one little track, it grew through the era of coal and steam, then absolutely exploded across the country in the late 20th century. And now, get this, as of 2026, the network is 99% electrified. What a massive, massive change.
And what's so cool is this beautiful contrast. Even while it's modernizing like crazy, it holds on to its history. You can still hop on a historic steam engine, like the famous Darjeeling toy train. It's like a living museum chugging right alongside the most high-tech trains out there.
Okay, now I need you to brace yourselves for some numbers that are just, well, they're kind of hard to believe. This is where you really understand the sheer, jaw-dropping scale of Indian railways today.
23 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. 23 million. That's how many passengers Indian Railways carries every single day.
To try and put that into perspective, imagine taking the entire population of Australia and moving them from one place to another. Now imagine doing that every 24 hours. It's this constant daily migration that keeps the whole country running.
And the world records, they just keep stacking up. It's got the world's highest rail bridge, the Chenab Bridge, which is actually taller than the Eiffel Tower. It has the world's longest platform in Gorakhpur, and with over 1.2 million people on staff, it's one of the biggest employers on the entire planet.
Now, while we all see the passengers, the real economic muscle of the railways is working behind the scenes, literally fueling the nation's economy.
Over 1 billion tons. That is the insane amount of freight. We're talking raw materials, goods, you name it, that the railways moved in the last fiscal year. This is the heavy lifting that powers the whole country.
And here's why that's so important. By using these special high-speed tracks called dedicated freight corridors, they can move essential stuff like coal, steel, and food super efficiently. This slashes logistics costs and really is the backbone of the Make India initiative. It keeps the lights on for the whole economy.
So, we've looked at the history, we've seen the scale, but honestly, the most exciting part is what's happening right now. The Indian Railways of 2026 is smack in the middle of a high-tech revolution. I mean, the passenger experience has been totally transformed. The days of slow, basic journeys are long gone. Now, it's all about high-speed electric trains, Wi-Fi on board, and a level of comfort that can compete with the best in the world. And the face of this whole revolution? It's the Vande Bharat Express. Just look at this growth. It went from just 50 services back in 2023 to a whopping 164 services in 2026. That's over 270 districts now connected by modern, fast travel. And get this, just this past January, they launched a total game changer, the Vande Bharat Sleeper. This is bringing a premium, world-class experience to that iconic Indian overnight train journey.
But of course, speed and comfort don't mean a thing without safety. And that's where the homegrown Kavach system comes in. It's this brilliant anti-collision tech. Basically, sensors on the tracks and signals are always talking to the train. If there's any risk, it warns the driver and can even hit the brakes automatically to stop a collision. It's making every single journey safer.
And you know, this whole modernization effort connects to a much bigger national goal. With its network almost totally electrified, the railway isn't just faster and safer, it's becoming a powerhouse for sustainability, helping lead the way for India's goal of net zero emissions.
So when you put it all together, you realize it's so much more than just transport. It's the thread that weaves the incredibly diverse fabric of India together. It's an engine for progress, and it's just a constant, familiar companion in the lives of over 1 billion people.
Which leaves us with one last, really powerful thought to chew on. As it keeps growing and modernizing, can this lifeline, which has served 1 billion people for generations, also become the main track that carries the entire nation to a greener, more sustainable future?
One thing's for sure, the journey never stops.